Hello YouTube. Today's video is the first of a multi-part series. I'm going to link all of the videos in a playlist and you can check that out up here. This series is for anyone who is interested in getting started with selling on Poshmark. So whether you have never used a reselling app before in your life, maybe you have bought on Poshmark before, but now you're interested in selling too, or maybe you've made a few sales on Poshmark and now you're wondering how you can take your business to the next level. This series is also going to apply no matter which region you're in, so we are full-time resellers from Vancouver, Canada, but we sell on Poshmark US and Poshmark Canada. Whether you're in Australia, UK, any other regions that they release, this series will help you still. So this first video is all about why you should sell on Poshmark, getting started and the account creation process, and of course navigating through the app as a seller. Welcome back to The Every Closet, or if this is your first time on our channel, welcome to The Every Closet. My name is Ethan, and along with my lovely partner Stephanie, we are two full-time resellers of used clothing, shoes, and accessories on Poshmark US, Poshmark Canada, and eBay.com. We started our full-time reselling business in January of 2021 on Poshmark Canada. We added Poshmark US to our business in April of 2021, and we branched into eBay in 2022. Our goal with this channel is to help people do exactly what we do, which is make money selling used clothes online. So you might be wondering, there's a lot of reselling apps out there. Why should you choose to start a business on Poshmark? As I mentioned, we sell currently on Poshmark US, Poshmark Canada, eBay.com. We have also sold on Facebook Marketplace. We've attempted Vestair and Depop. As we're located in Canada, we have fewer options than our neighbors to the south do. We can't use Mercari, for instance. That being said, we have tried quite a few, and we decided not just to start one Poshmark store, but to start two. So that and the number of reselling apps that we've tried should tell you a lot. We do have the occasional issue with Poshmark, but still, it is by far, in our experience, the most user-friendly place to list items for sale. A lot of people out there will have used Marketplace and eBay as people who have sold regularly on both. We love our eBay store now that it is running, but it was a real pain to get started, and on an ongoing basis, eBay just is not as user-friendly for buyers or sellers. So we do love Poshmark. It is the most user-friendly. It takes the most care of both sellers and buyers when it comes to shipping and customer issues or returns, lost packages, and we're going to get into all of those throughout this series. You can also make really good money on the app. We have sold some weird things, we have sold some expensive things, we've sold some cheap things, and regardless of what kind of business you want to run, whether it's exclusively sneakers or whether it's exclusively jewelry, there is a niche for you on Poshmark and you can make good money doing it. Our name is The Every Closet because we sell pretty much everything that you could find in a closet. Shoes, jewelry, home goods, accessories, all kinds of stuff. So just know that you're not limited solely to clothing on Poshmark. So if you decide to sign up for Poshmark, it's a super straightforward process. The only thing of note is make sure when it asks you for a referral code, you do use one. There are a ton of them online. And if you don't currently know anyone selling on Poshmark, so you don't have someone's code you can use, I will pop ours up on screen here. But regardless of whether you choose to use ours or someone else's, make sure you do use a referral code. This just gives you free Posh credit, basically, which you can use towards any purchase on the app. And even if you're just intending to sell on the app and not to purchase, you never know. Sometimes you might find a gift you want to purchase for someone. Presumably, you also wear clothes, so from time to time, you may find something you really like. Unless you're a nudist, which judgment-free zone here at The Every Closet. Even if you're not interested in buying for yourself or for someone else, just know that something we're going to get into later on in this series is Posh Ambassador status and what that means. The long and short of it for this section is just, if you're a Posh Ambassador, you get a little badge on your profile, and I have a conspiracy theory that it also means that you get slightly preferred placement in search. That's just my tinfoil hat. But nonetheless, being a Posh ambassador tells possible buyers that you are more active on the app. It's kind of Poshmark's way of saying this person has been here for a while and they're more trustworthy as sellers. So it is going to be harder to make sales, in our opinion, if you are not at least a Posh Ambassador 1. There is also a Posh Ambassador 2 status, but to get to that first level of Posh Ambassador, you do have to leave someone a love note, and you can only leave a love note on a purchase that you have made. The only other point I'd make on the account setup and getting started is you do also have to choose what region or regions you're going to sell on. So we do have a comprehensive guide on how you can sell on Poshmark US from Canada. The same steps work if you want to sell on Poshmark Canada from the US. I will leave a link to that video up here. Just know that it is an option. You probably don't want to start 2 closets at the same time. But once you get comfortable on the app, if you're making good sales and you want to add a second closet, it is currently an option. We are doing it, and we have been doing it since April of 2021. We've been running both concurrently with no issues. This next section is all about navigating through the app from a seller's perspective. I'm going to assume that you are completely unfamiliar with the app, so maybe you've bought a couple items. Just bear with me because I want to make sure I cover everything that we do actually use being sellers. When you first open the app on your phone, it's going to start you on the left hand where it says feed. This is mainly for buyers on the app. I talk more about that in our how to buy on Poshmark video, which I will leave a link to up here, but I'm not really going to cover anything in the feed because that's more for buyers. The shop tab to the right of feed, this is where you can search for things. We do use this all the time to check comps. Comps stands for comparable sold. This is basically where you would want to start your search if you're wondering how much to price an item at. When we talk about listing items, we're going to talk more about how to find comps, but I'll just show you really quickly how we use this to find specific pieces when we're searching at the thrift store to see if something is worth picking up, or when we're listing items. Let's say I found a Lululemon rain jacket at the thrift store and I'm wondering if I should pick it up. I would use the shop tab here. I could type in just Lululemon Athletica and it comes up as a brand there. Click on that. And then I can start sub-filtering by clicking this button here. And then you can see when you first sign up for Posh, it'll automatically ask you for your size information. Stephanie does buy stuff on the app every now and then, so she has her size put in there automatically. So if you see it as filtering by size, the first thing you always want to do is switch that to all sizes. And then you'll see it brings up all of the Lululemon items. And then you want to make sure your availability is set to sold items because you're wondering how much things have actually sold for. Then you go back into the filter and you can start paring down the category to see what the solds look like for your specific category of item. So I would go to women's jackets and then you can sub-filter here based on what you found. In this case, I'm just going to leave it at jackets, and then I can apply a sub search as well and say raincoat. And so here you can see it has filtered just for rain jackets for women from Lululemon, and you can start to get an idea of what the sold comparable listings look like. So I won't say any more about that, and we will talk more about checking comps when we're in the listing section, but that should give you a basic idea, and you can scroll through and just see kind of what things are moving for. So the next tab over is the sell tab. So what you can do when you're selling on Poshmark is you can use the sell tab camera and just take photos directly into the app. You can then list the item or you can save it as a draft. You can see we currently have 32 drafts that we could go back and then edit. So those are here. And if you don't want to take photos of your items and put the photos directly into Poshmark like this, you can also take photos just on your phone's camera. And then when you go into sell, you can click on your photo gallery in the bottom left-hand corner and select the photos that you want for the listing. One note about taking photos of your items, make sure if you are not taking them directly in the Poshmark app, you switch your phone's camera to square mode. Poshmark Cell tab will automatically be in square mode, or 1x1, I think is what iPhones call it. But yeah, you need to be in 1x1 or square. Otherwise, you're going to have to play around with cropping the image, which might not work out depending on how you took your photos. Otherwise, we're going to leave any of our photography tips for a future video in this series all about photographing. Next up, to the right of the Cell tab, we have the news feed. And so here you can see our news feed. This is where you're going to spend a lot of your time as a seller on Poshmark, because you're going to be getting any notifications about comments that people have left you on your items, and that'll appear on this comments tab. Then this offers tab will show you any offers that you have received or any offers to likers that you have sent out. This won't show you any individual offers you sent to a specific person, but it will show you offers you received or offers you sent out in bulk. And I'll talk more about that in a couple of minutes. It'll also show you any orders or order updates. So you will get an update here when a purchase is made, and you can see a couple of those on screen currently. You will also get updates when your buyer has received the item and rated it, or if they left you a love note. And you will also get updates here just confirming that your items have shipped and started tracking when the shipping carrier scans the items in. And you can also see if there are messages sent to you about your sales. Next up, we have likes. So the like feature on Poshmark is basically buyers saying, I am interested in this item and I could be persuaded to purchase this item. So we always try to send offers to anyone who likes an item. So you can see this person on screen has liked several of our items. So we would go ahead and add all of those items to a bundle and send her a bundled offer. I believe we have already done that. Yes. Next up, we have bundles. So if anyone adds your items to their bundle, then you will get updates about that here. Any Posh shows that are being run by people that you follow, if there's anyone that you are friends with and you follow them, you'll get notified about their Posh shows here. Or if there's someone whose style that you really like, you give them a follow and you'll get updated about their Posh shows here. And if you don't know, Posh shows are just live selling. So the sellers would hold up the item usually and tell you a little bit about it, and then everyone who's watching the Posh show live stream would be able to bid on that item. So this is where you will get notified with kind of anything else, whether it is a customer case, that'll also come up in the orders tab. So again, we don't actually really use the account tab, but you can see what some of those notifications look like. And so that pretty much does it for the news tab. The other thing I want to show you is your closet tab on the right. If you click on that, it gives you all of these many options. And so there's a lot to go through here. We'll just run through them quickly. Your Guide to Poshmark and Posh Etiquette. These are great places to start if you still find that you have questions about the app or any of Poshmark's policies. Invite Friends, Earn Cash. This is where you can go to get your own affiliate link for Poshmark. My Closet, this is one of the most common things we click on. This shows you your entire store of listed and sold items. You can apply the same kind of filtering to it that you could just from the shop tab. So you can see here I can search in our closet for something specific. I can filter by anything specific if I'm looking for something, and you can change the way your closet is sorting. All of that kind of stuff. You can also sort by the categories in case you sell in multiple categories, and you can pull them up here. So we use that My Closet button a lot. My Drafts, if say you want to kind of optimize your workflow, maybe you're taking a whole bunch of photos of a bunch of different items at once, then maybe you want to make them into drafts so then you can list them all in batches later. You can see all of your drafts here. We have an employee who takes photos of our items, and then we can move those into drafts, and then we can make them listings all at once. My offers, you can see there's a for purchase and a for sale. You can see all of the offers that you've sent out and what the status of those offers is. My recent views, again, this is where you would go if you found something in search but you forgot to like it or you didn't want to like it. You can still find it again. It just shows you items that you have clicked on recently. Then of these three tabs, my purchase, my payment methods, and my addresses, my purchases and payment methods, those are more for buyers, so I'm going to leave that. But my addresses, this is going to be your return address, which goes on the shipping label that Poshmark sends you. So do make sure you put in an up-to-date return address. And you can see when you open that up, it has your default shipping address and your default return address. So those can be different. My sales is the tab you would go to see any of your items that have sold. And at a glance, you can see if it just says sold at the bottom, that means the buyer has purchased that item, Poshmark has sent you the shipping label, and that item needs to now be shipped. If you scroll down, you can see there are items here that say in transit. So an item will automatically switch from sold to in transit when your shipping carrier has scanned that item in and when you have dropped it off at the post office. Delivered, that means the item has been delivered to the buyer. However, they have not yet accepted the item, or the 3-day waiting period before your earnings release has not elapsed yet. If a buyer does not manually go into the app and acknowledge that they have received the purchase, if they just don't do anything on the app, there is a 3-day window. At the end of that 3 days, your earnings from a sale will be automatically released. Scrolling down, you can see order complete, and there is order complete with a rating to the right. If it just says order complete, that means those 3 days have elapsed and your earnings have been released, or the buyer has accepted the order and your earnings have been released. Either way, you got paid, which is awesome. If the buyer did choose to leave you a rating, that would show up along the right side of the screen there beside the order. And you can click into the order and you can see if you were left a love note. I'd say buyers only leave love notes maybe 15 to 20% of the time, but Poshmark does request that buyers leave a rating. So you kind of know how the transaction went, if they were happy with it. So here you can see we did get a love note, and that just shows up under the additional comments below the buyer's rating. You can also manually mark orders as shipped, and that just tells Poshmark that you dropped an item off at the postal carrier. It can take 24 to 48 hours sometimes for an item to actually start tracking, so just bear that in mind. If you do want to mark something as shipped, absolutely feel free, but it will automatically update when your shipping carrier system processes that package. Next up, we have the My Balance tab. So My Balance is where you go to redeem any of your outstanding balance. You can see at the top there is a credit balance, and that is because we won Love It or List It a couple of days ago, and someone signed up for Poshmark using our link, so that means we have $65 in Posh credit. Love It or List It is just one of the regular sweepstakes that Poshmark runs. Usually there is one a day, so we won that, which is why we have $65 in Posh credit. Again, Posh credit is not redeemable to your bank account. You can only use it to make a purchase. Any amount in the pending tab is there because a buyer has purchased an item from you, but it has not been delivered and accepted yet, or that 3-day window from delivery has not passed. So you can see we have $400 in pending currently, and that just means we have packages that are not yet with their final home that we need to ship, or that are in transit currently. If you have a balance that is redeemable, the very first time you go here to redeem your balance, this amount will be green. You'll click on it and it'll ask you to put in your bank details. If you are selling on Poshmark US, you have a couple more options for how to redeem. I believe you can get a paper check and you can do like PayPal and stuff. With Poshmark Canada, we don't have as many options. We might be able to do PayPal still, but yeah, usually you would use direct deposit to your bank account. It takes a couple of days, but there's no fee associated with that. So that's My Balance. My Posh Stats is where you can go to see how long you've been a Posher, the number of listings that you currently have, how many followers you have, your username. It'll also tell you about your Posh Ambassador status. So we'll get into what it means to be a Posh Ambassador 1 or 2 later on in the series, but you can see that here. My Shoppers, this is another tab that we do use from time to time. Though we do tend to do things more on an individual basis as notifications come up. We will sometimes use My Shoppers. You can add likes to each buyer's bundle in bulk. You can send bundle offers in bulk. You can add a comment to every liker's bundle. So say you want to send the same message to everyone who has ever liked an item, you would do that from here. I find that My Shoppers is an overkill tool a lot of the time. The main reason we would use this is if we want to run a limited time sale by engaging with anyone who has ever liked an item or engaged with our closet. Then we would do like the bulk comment and say, Merry Christmas, we're running a Christmas sale for the next week. And so we're offering 40% off of our list price or something like that. That's where My Shoppers is really nice. It saves you a ton of time. Notifications is a tab that I would recommend you set up the first time you're really getting started on the app. You can basically set here what Poshmark will notify you about outside of the app. There is an email preference in here. This will also affect the push notifications that you get on your lock screen or on your phone. So this is what ours looks like currently. This is what we have found is the best balance for not getting totally spammed. I will say it is super annoying that like or share is grouped together and not separate. This just means that you will get notified about both people liking your items and people sharing your listings. Unfortunately, that's the system Poshmark has. If you want to get notified of one, you're going to get notified of both. And I do recommend that you leave that checked because someone who likes is someone who could be persuaded to purchase usually. So you want to be able to interact with them soon after they like the item. So the last couple things I want to touch on about navigating through Poshmark has to do with bundling and keyboard shortcuts. So if someone likes an item and you want to add that item to their bundle, you can click on their username and then click on the little shopping bag with their user icon in the top right, and then click the three dots in the top right and say switch to sell view. You scroll down and you click on the little shopping bag with the plus icon, and you'll see it pushes it up into their bundle. This is their bundle at the top, and you can add multiple items to it. So if this person had liked multiple items, I would just click the shopping bag for each of the items that I want to add to the bundle. Anything that is in this upper section, when you send someone an offer, you're sending them a single offer on all of those items together. If they were to purchase, you would be packaging all of those items together in a single box or mailer, and then you would get a single label from Poshmark, which you would affix to the outside. You can see here in the bottom right-hand corner, we have already sent this person an offer, and that is because we have an automation tool that takes care of that for us. If you're curious about automation and why we use it and how to use it, I will leave a link to that video up here. I talk all about automation concerns and whether or not it's against terms of service, why we use it, why it's beneficial, all that good stuff you'll find in this video here. But yes, so we have already sent this person an offer. If I wanted to send them an offer manually, what I would do, instead of saying view offer, this would just say offer. And so usually what I would do is I would leave them a comment. I would use our keyboard shortcut, which is on this phone as the number 1 and then the letter L and then the letter O. And you can see there's an autocomplete option there. And so they liked one thing, so one like offer. So this basically just says, I added your item to a bundle and I'm going to send you an offer on your bundle. We have a keyboard shortcut as well for a multi-like offer. If someone did like more than one item from our closet, then we would use MLO, and it's just basically the same thing. I've added your multiple likes to a bundle and I'll send you a single offer on all of your likes, that kind of thing. We do really recommend doing this. Just if you are not at the scale where an automation tool makes sense, then you do really want to be engaging with buyers on an item by item and a like by like basis. It will increase your sales. Always send people who like things offers. That is why we have the automation tool. It just makes things a lot easier because we don't have to do that item by item. But if you're a smaller closet, you're just getting started, you don't have the sales to justify an automation tool yet, then totally fine. We did this manually for like the first year and a bit. So yeah, don't worry about it. You can still grow a large profitable closet without an automation tool, it becomes hard as you grow bigger and bigger past a couple hundred items, or if you're selling on multiple platforms. So you've seen what one of our keyboard shortcuts looks like. I'm gonna walk through on screen here on iOS how you would find those keyboard shortcuts or text replacement. You would go to your phone settings, and then I would just search for, pull down, you get that search bar, text replacement. So I typed in text, and you can see there's second from the top, text replacement. And so then at the very top here, there's text replacement, and you can see what some of our text replacements are. We do have the 2 LOs is for multiple items. Then you can click on that, put in your shortcut phrase, that's what you type in, and then it gives you however much text you typed into the phrase that you're replacing your shortcut into. So yeah, use text replacement. Same option is available on Android as well. Just search in your settings for text replacement or keyboard shortcuts will make your life a lot easier. Just trust me, because you'll end up finding a message that you want to send and you're sending it repeatedly. We also use text replacements when we're making our listings. So we have kind of like pre-done fields in the description of our items. So for tops, for instance, we always take the same kinds of measurements and the rough description looks the same. So we have our shortcut, we just automatically put the shortcut in, and then we personalize it to each item that we're listing. And we do recommend that you do that. It'll save you a ton of time, because again, you'll find yourself just typing the same things over and over again, like best deals and bundles, or message me if you want me to add multiple likes to a bundle, or whatever it is. So just make your life easy, use text replacements. It'll save you time, and time is money. Styling an item to someone's bundle. This just means that someone did not like an item, but you have manually pushed that item to their bundle anyway. I will say, sellers, please don't manually style things to someone's bundle without their asking or prompting you for it in some way. This happens all the time on the app, where we have never interacted with their closet, and they might just be like, hey, I added this item to your bundle, and we get a notification for that, and it's like, I've never seen this item before, I didn't express any interest in purchasing this, why did you do this? But that being said, it is a very helpful feature for Poshmark to have, and it is a feature that we have used, albeit rarely, especially once you grow your closet beyond a couple hundred listings. It can become cumbersome for buyers to sort through it, and they might, like, for instance, we've had people in the past say, I'm not super familiar with Poshmark search filters. Can you show me anything else that you have that is Lululemon shirt in size 6, for instance? So if you wanted to style an item to someone's bundle, first you would just want to write down or note and then you would go into My Closet, and then in the right-hand corner where it says share, it says share listing. So instead of typing in or clicking on the party or my followers, you can type in search, and then you would type in their username here. So yeah, let's say I wanted to share this item to someone's bundle. I would go search, I would find the person I want to share to, and then I would click that item, and away it goes into their bundle. So it can be a nice way of just showing a buyer something that is related to what you know they're shopping for, or if they ask you. Don't style things to people's bundles randomly. It's not nice. It's a waste of a notification. The other major thing you're going to need to know for navigating the app as a seller is some of the other features for navigating your own closet. I'm going to go through the main ones that we use. So if you click on the bottom right-hand corner and say My Closet, it'll bring you to your store. Let's say you want to mass drop your prices. You can click on the little wrenches in the top right corner, and this will give you some more options. So let's say you want to share your items to your followers in bulk. This is how you would do that. And we'll talk more about sharing in a future video, but for the purposes of this video, I will just say you have to share your items regularly if you want to make sales. Sharing your items basically pushes them to the top of search. If you share to your followers, it's not actually just to your followers, it's to the Poshmark app as a whole. And Poshmark search automatically puts things that have been shared above things that haven't been shared recently. So Poshmark is constantly tinkering with their algorithm, and it's a whole thing. but sharing does still matter. You do still have to share your closet regularly. So you would do that from here, and I'll just show you quickly. You click on share to followers, and then you can say select all at the very top left. The thing to note about this is it'll only select the first page of loaded results. So you can see, like, we have about 1,600 active listings. So you do have to scroll all the way to the bottom until it stops loading more listings, and then you have to scroll all the way to the top, and then you have to say select all, and then you have to click share to followers. If you just want to share certain items, you can filter and sub-filter here, or you can just select things if there are specific things that you want to select, but not others. But yeah, that's how you would go about sharing your closet if you do not have an automation tool, which I mentioned earlier. The other bulk options in here, you can see you can bulk send offers to likers. So if you have a bunch of listings, you don't have an automation tool, and you just want to send offers to anyone who has liked an item, say you want to do like a set percentage off of your list price, you can do that from make an offer to likers. So you just say what percentage off of your list price you want to do. You do have to offer discounted shipping. So on Canada, the regular shipping fee is $13.49 that a buyer has to pay, and only the seller can choose to discount the shipping on an item. A buyer doesn't have a say. So if you are sending an offer to likers, you do have to offer discounted shipping as well. It is mandatory. And so you can see the increments there that you can offer. You can also bulk edit the listing price from here, which is really nice. And what we'd recommend doing is once every 2 to 3 weeks, we will go through the entire closet and drop our prices by about 10% just across the board, or some items will drop even more. But yeah, you want to drop your prices occasionally if you want items to move, especially as you're getting started and you're showing Poshmark that you can be trusted to ship things to buyers and not just leave them hanging. But yeah, so that's how you would bulk drop prices. And you can see here, you can also switch that from drop to raise, where you can bulk raise prices. So usually what we'll do is after we have gone through and dropped the prices by 10%, and then we drop by another 10%, and then once the prices are down like 30 or 40% of what they were, we'll go through, we'll bulk raise the prices back up, and then we will relist our items. And we'll talk more about relisting in a future video in this series, but yeah, basically, if the item is old enough, relisting the item will essentially be treated by Poshmark as if it were an entirely new listing. So yeah, that's kind of our process for how we manage our closet, and that's what we found has given us the best results. And the last thing I just want to note about navigating through the app, you can see if you click on your closet in the bottom right hand corner and then you scroll down, not everyone will have the option here yet for My Posh Shows because it is technically still in beta, though they are continuously rolling it out to more people. For instance, even though we are very well-established sellers on Poshmark US, our US closet still doesn't have access to live shows, only our Canadian closet does. If you do gain access to Posh live shows, then you can access them here through My Posh Shows. You can see we're actually doing our first live show on June 2nd, which is possibly in the past, depending on when this video gets released. But we do have our first live show scheduled. And yeah, at some point we will update this series and this playlist about tips from our experience live selling, but obviously we're just doing our first one, so hesitant to give advice on something we haven't done yet. So check back in future and hopefully we'll have done a few live shows and can give feedback and tips that we've learned along the way. All right, I think that about does it for this video, this first part of our How to Sell on Poshmark series. I hope you found it helpful. If you had any questions about anything we covered today, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. And otherwise, it would mean a lot if you did find some value, either clicking subscribe or checking out our channel, watching some other videos. It tells YouTube that we are a helpful channel, and it means a lot. So yes, our next video in this series will be all about photographing listings and making the actual listings. We have learned a lot about how to do this in a way that will encourage buyers to purchase, and so I'm really excited for us to film and get that video out because I think that'll be really helpful whether you are maybe more of a veteran reseller or you're just getting started. Hopefully there's going to be some tips in there that can help you take your photographing and listing game to the next level. And all of that really does help convert more sales. Until the next time, go out there, make some sales, start Poshmark, build a reselling empire, and never shop retail again. Bye.